Tonight, the Near Star wars continue as the state Labor leader and shadow treasurer meet with workers in Port Pirie. And Port Lincoln High School's new state-of-the-art STEM centre officially opens.
This is Southern Cross News with Abby Donaldson.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. Opposition leader Peter Malinauskas is accusing the State Treasurer of political point scoring and is calling on the government to honour the 2014 deal struck with Near Star. Mr Malinauskas and the Shadow Treasurer made a visit to Port Pirie to meet with Near Star workers today.
State Treasurer Rob Lucas is playing hardball in his negotiations with Belgium metal giant Near Star, saying it's time for the financially struggling corporation to pay its dues.
All I'm interested in is protecting the interests of the taxpayers, and ultimately to do that we have to get these repayments every 6 months, and we're not getting them.
As the state government continues talks with Near Star's management, Labor leader Peter Malinauskas and Shadow Treasurer Stefan Mulligan controversially timed a visit to the Australian Workers Union's Port Pirie branch today.
I understand that actually has an impact on real people's lives, and I would actively encourage him to come to Port Pirie, talk to the workers and work out that he should be fighting for their jobs rather than trying to play politics.
Labor is calling on the state government to soften its rhetoric on Near Star, which Mr Mulligan believes is damaging workers' morale.
Rob Lucas is putting all of that at risk with his needless negative rhetoric, and it's not doing the workers, it's not doing Near Star, and it's not doing Port Pirie any good.
Due to the current complexity of the situation, the Australian Workers Union is calling for bipartisan action to be taken in Parliament.
To get an accurate picture of the exact health of the company and work with the company and the opposition and the government in order to make this facility a profitable and enduring feature of Port Pirie.
The state government is working hard to recoup $191 million owed to taxpayers and is hopeful they'll have a new payment plan sorted by the end of the year.
I certainly believe they know it's in their best interests not to have a stand-up battle with the sovereign government like the new government of South Australia.
Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
Many regional schools could close their doors next week amid pending industrial action from teachers. A ballot on the strike will be sent to educators, but parents and students will only learn the results 48 hours before the shutdown.
Low pay, a lack of resources and unfair work conditions. These are some of the reasons fueling a potential teacher strike for next Thursday.
Our members are frustrated at the lack of response by the state government in relation to a number of conditions-related matters.
The action comes amid failed negotiations between the union and state government, which was brought to a head last month when teachers rallied in Adelaide. They want to see increased incentives for educators to move to regional areas, additional staff to reduce the size of classrooms, and more permanent teaching positions, a figure currently sitting at just 67%.
Pretty much everything that we've put on the table that our members have asked us to put to the state government has been rejected.
However, the state government claimed they've already invested in education by an extra $190 million this year, which will continue to increase to $515 million per year by 2021.
The unions are just going to want to continue to talk about how we want even more and more money than the $515 million extra. Well, then that's just not possible.
A decision on strike action will be made on a school-by-school basis when votes from teachers are finalised next Monday afternoon. The union anticipates many Port Augusta schools will close their doors.
Our members feel very strongly about these provisions, and that's what's driven them to take this action.
Plans for teachers to hold a rally in Port Augusta are also underway. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Whyalla Hospital is trialling a new program that'll bring Parkinson's treatment and support closer to home. The monthly nurse-led consult is the first of its kind in regional SA.
Donna Schultz was first diagnosed with Parkinson's in August last year. It's been a tough time for her with endless trips to Adelaide for appointments as they continue to work out her treatment plan.
I was supposed to skype every 3 months, but they were we stopped doing that because the symptoms not pulling up. They want to see me more often.
The 8-hour round trips to Adelaide were a stressful experience. However, Donna won't need to travel as much thanks to a new trial at the Whyalla Hospital. A monthly nurse-led clinic is now in operation, providing a local option for management of the disease.
Conduct a series of assessments in order to be able to provide some education and some nursing strategies.
Ms. Shard says having the right tools to self-manage is key to making living with the disease a little easier.
Being able to do that, hopefully they'll be weller at home and avoid some of the pitfalls.
The clinic is the first outside of metropolitan Adelaide, and if successful, Health Minister Stephen Wade says other parts of regional SA could eventually get their own.
Country Health SA is always looking for opportunities to deliver services closer to home. It strengthens our country health network of health professionals.
It's early days, but Donna is already feeling the benefits.
You can consult more with Sue, and Sue is more knowledgeable than the specialist himself.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
If you're wanting to spot dolphins in our local waters, research suggests the shallows around Coffin Bay is the place to go. A new study shows there's quite a healthy bottlenose dolphin population there.
They're the graceful and inquisitive mammals of the sea, and it turns out local waters are filled with them.
So we've been studying the population in Coffin Bay since 2010 when we did some pilot surveys that pretty much indicated that there's quite a healthy bottlenose dolphin population in the area.
So researchers looked into a more comprehensive investigation about their behaviours and habitat use.
Most of the dolphins are actually occurring close to the coast in relatively shallow water,
which is believed to be due to the abundance of fish available.
We know that Coffin Bay is quite rich and productive in terms of fish availability and diversity, so it represents a very important habitat for dolphins.
While the presence of dolphins in the shallows of the waters is great for the locals and tourists, it can be harmful for the dolphins exposed to a range of human threats. So it's hoped the new research can be used to inform future marine park zoning to protect the abundant species.
When the 10-year review of the marine park in South Australia comes into place, this information can then be put back into the review.
Casey Treloar, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, we take a look inside Port Lincoln High School's new state-of-the-art STEM centre. Hello again. Claire McLaughlin will officially take over as the Mayor of Whyalla tomorrow. She's told Southern Cross News her first priority is to meet with new councillors and develop a united front.
After 2 months of nominating, campaigning and vote counting, Whyalla voted Claire as mayor. Ms McLaughlin will officially begin her job tomorrow, excited by what's in store for the city.
It's a really exciting time in Whyalla's history at the moment, and I'm really looking forward to moving forward in a positive way with our new council.
And meeting the new elected members is one of her first priorities. She says it's important they develop a strong working relationship and avoid divisions that plagued the last council.
The new council with a great varied skill base, so it's about positive fresh start for Whyalla with a fresh new council.
Also high on the list is a new document outlining how to diversify the city's traditional one industry economy. A transformation framework is currently being developed, something the new mayor says will change Whyalla's thinking.
It's a very important document. It's an exciting document for our future, and that is going to be a very big focus.
The new council will officially meet for the first time as an elected body next Monday night from 5:30 p.m. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill is on its way to becoming a smarter city thanks to a funding boost from the federal government. The local councils say the money will be used to introduce more useful technology across the city.
A heritage city becoming a smarter city.
Broken Hill received a bit over $340,000, which was announced yesterday for smart cities.
About 2 years ago, Broken Hill City Council adopted a smart cities framework, a plan to modernise parts of the city with smart technology. The free Wi-Fi in the CBD and Patton Street, as well as parking sensors at the airport, are all part of the project. The funding boost now gives council an opportunity to introduce more parking sensors across town and look at installing smart bins.
Well, there's plenty of things that can be used for. Obviously expanding what we're currently going out to tender for with smart lighting in Sturt Park, Patton Park and CCTV throughout the CBD and parks, but also going further we can look at smart watering systems, so knowing the moisture levels in soil rather than have the sprays come on anytime during the day.
Broken Hill is also part of the Southern Lights project, an initiative to replace over 75,000 street lights with LED lighting across almost all of southern New South Wales. While that is about 2 years away from rollout, Council says the project, along with all the other smart technology, increases their efficiency.
Yeah, so we'll be able to become more efficient with our resources, both labour and material-wise, and that way we can focus on other important things in the city that we can't get to at the moment.
Patrick Royenke, Southern Cross News.
Students from the Port Lincoln High School are finally learning in their new state-of-the-art STEM centre, with the multi-million-dollar facility officially opening its doors today.
Learning maths equations on a large touchscreen computer to designing objects with 3D printers. It's all part of the state's education push toward boosting the science, technology, engineering and maths curriculum.
The research suggests that at least 3/4 of the jobs that these kids will go into will involve some sort of STEM skills.
Today, the Port Lincoln High School officially opened its new $2.5 million state-of-the-art STEM centre, with the new digital and collaborative style of learning welcomed by everyone.
Traditionally, maths and science is, a little bit boring. However, giving them a new environment and a new approach to teaching and learning gives them a bit more of a spark, and that's what we're after.
We like the collaborative space where we can sort of interact with, all our classmates, and the open learning rather than the small confined classrooms.
The extra space gives us a chance to work more collaboratively together as a teaching team.
One of the more exciting additions is these 3D printers, which can print anything from a figurine to even a miniature house.
So we're talking about making small projects so the kids can actually build it once, analyse it, rebuild it and learn about the improvement process.
For Brooklyn and Cameron, they'll have a big STEM workload in their Year 12 next year with biology, chemistry, maths and physics.
So, going to be using these facilities a lot and really look forward to it.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
Looks amazing. Karimi's Kitchen is bringing a taste of Kenya to the Yorke Peninsula. The recently opened food cart is cooking up a storm and bringing life back to the small town of Alford.
Its high street is sat uninterrupted by commuters travelling back and forth from Kadina and Port Pirie. Almost all the shops on this street have closed, except one bucking that trend with its vibrant colours, rich aromas, is Karimi's Kitchen.
Every day is a new day. Every day gets busier than the last, and it's been interesting because we've got the passing traffic.
Karimi has been cooking her way across the world, moving from kitchen to kitchen until she found herself setting up shop in the sleepy town of Alford.
Back in Africa, I did I worked as a chef for resorts and country clubs, and Australia at the time and Canada and America were looking for skilled immigrants as chefs.
Her passion for cooking, sourcing and selling fresh local produce is certainly making its mark, with locals and tourists impressed with what the menu has to offer. So how do you find the food?
It's really phenomenal. It's really good food, it's really fresh. It's exactly what you get off the board and more.
And it certainly brings a wealth of cooking knowledge to a new town.
I am more skilled as a pastry chef, but I've learned to do everything else in the kitchen, whatever I need to get done.
Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break, all the latest local sport results, and in the weather, it's looking like a wild day tomorrow, windy, wet and possible storms for most centres. I'll have all the local weather details soon. Hello again. Broken Hill's local footy league will adopt 7 of the 9 new rules established by the AFL for its 2019 season. The rules concerning runners and water runners being on the field during game time won't be enforced.
A major shake-up for Aussie rules. Broken Hill Footy will be adopting majority of the AFL's new rules, but showed concerns about 2 of them. Water runners and runners only being allowed on the field once a goal is scored and must be off before play resumes.
We've had correspondence back from AFL New South Wales to say that they will be adopting a statewide policy that the runner can access the playing arena at any time as was the case this year and for many years previous. So we believe that's a win.
The other rules are fair game. When quarters start or a goal is scored, 6 players must be in the forward, midfield and back lines. A defender won't have to kick the ball to themselves to play on after a behind is scored. Additionally, the player standing the mark will be 10 metres back, not 5. And a player can now put his or her hands on the back of their opponent to protect their position, provided they don't push him or her in the back.
Overall, we're fairly comfortable with the new rules.
A full list of rule changes can be found on the AFL website. Patrick Ryankey, Southern Cross News.
Now a look at all the latest sports action from across the region. Garth Burley joins us from Port Augusta. And Garth, one team is proving a clear title contender in the local basketball comp.
Yes, Abby, another win to Wildcats means they are now 3 wins clear of second place. The Wildcats proved their hot form on court, beating the Eagles by 18 points. In the other match, Titans defeated Cobras in a tight one. In Whyalla, Wildcats extended their winning streak to 6 games after a win over Roos, and Titans netted 4 more goals to beat the Braves. In Port Lincoln, wins to Sharks, Rangers White and Waybacks. Globetrotters recorded their first win of the season in Port Pirie, and the other match went right down to the final buzzer, with a draw forcing Ducks and Tomcats to share the points. Turning to tennis, Trinity Gold made light work of Port Pirie, Trinity Red beat Railway, and a nail-biter saw Risdon Uniting Blue inch over the line over rivals Uniting Green. In the Silver City, volleys and smashes both cruised to wins, and in the battle between backhands and forehands, a thrilling finish saw both teams unable to break the score deadlock. And finally to the Whyalla ballpark. Tigers won by 5 runs against Indians in the softball. Roadrunners thumped the ball around the park to beat Eagles. And in the baseball, Indians were the victors in a close contest with Tigers. So plenty of weekend sport. Back to you, Abby.
Thanks, Garth. And now it's time to take a look at what's happening in the weather. We saw much cooler temperatures around the Gulf today. The odd shower too, Port Augusta reaching a max of 23 degrees, Whyalla and Port Lincoln 21 the top. On the satellite, a band of clouds stretching from northwestern SA to the southeast in a deep trough is triggering some showers and thunderstorms, and low cloud about the southwest with a cold front is bringing the odd shower. On the waters for your Wednesday, westerly shifting southwesterly winds quite strong, up to 35 knots, seas at 2 metres, and sunrise will be at 6:05 on the dot tomorrow morning. It's looking like a wild day tomorrow. Windy, wet and possible storms for most centres. Whyalla and Port Augusta 21 the max. It's going to calm down by Thursday though. Cloudy for Cleve and Woodna. Mostly fine for Friday with temps creeping back up into the 20s. And the odd shower forecast for Saturday. Port Lincoln 21 the max. Warming up again in Woodna 31. Some scattered showers forecast over the coming days, finding up to in the week too. Whyalla 21 on Friday, Port Augusta 24 the max, while temps are going to warm back up again on Saturday with the odd sprinkle forecast. Port Augusta 32 the top. Similar story here, windy in Clare and Broken Hill tomorrow and Thursday. Lovely conditions by Friday though. A mix of sunshine and cloud. Port Pirie 23 the top, and the heat ramps back up again on Saturday with showers forecast. And that's all from the team this Tuesday. We hope to see you tomorrow. Good night.